My stepfather killed my mother and then killed himself. I don't know what to do. About 24 hours ago, the cops stood in front of the door to the apartment where my mom and I lived and told me that my mother had died. I've cried so much today that it feels like an ocean of tears. I've cried so much that I feel empty now. I think about her a lot. So much. It still seems like a nightmare. This can't be true, right? I heard about her death on the news and saw a picture of a blue body bag being rolled into the back of a wagon with a body inside. There's my mom in that purse. Holy crap. I'll go over what happened once more. Maybe this will help me believe it more. I'm not sure. On Wednesday night, my mom called me while my boyfriend and I were playing speedminton in the park. She told me she was coming home. I asked her if everything was okay, and she told me not to worry and that my boyfriend could still come over if he wanted to. I told her it was fine and that I would see her soon. We went home together, but she wasn't there. I wasn't scared because my stepfather and mom have been together for a long time. They love each other very much, but they fight a lot. They quickly make up every time. I called her and texted her several times to find out if she wanted dinner. I also texted and called my dad. They didn't say anything. I didn't think this was so strange, either. I thought they had just made up. I think he had already stabbed her by this time. It makes me feel sick to write this. At 3 a.m., the cops came and told me what was going on. They stayed in the apartment while my boyfriend called my best friend, who came over in a taxi. From then on, I don't remember much. I remember sitting down to write the Reddit post because I didn't know how to feel or what to do, and I guess I just wanted to scream my pain into the internet void. My stepfather hadn't killed himself yet at that point. He had driven his car up into the country, where my mother has a tiny house by the lake that is her pride and joy. How about her garden? They went up there together every weekend. There, he killed himself. That fucking jerk. I've never been so mad before. I loved him. He was like family to me, and we got along great. I sometimes wish I could just kill him, or poke out his eyes. How could he do this to me? I just want to scream in his face. With her, my wonderful mother, fuck, she is such a fucking light. She is such an amazing person, and we are so close. I told her the whole truth, and it's not just because she's my mom. She's a really great person and everyone who's met her has loved her. I didn't go to sleep until about 6 a.m. I broke some glasses. I shed many tears. We watched the whole movie. Today, I had to call everybody. Her friends, her brother, and my grandparents. I had to call my stepfather's kids in the UK and tell them what had happened. I can't even think about how hard things must be for them. My mother was killed, and their father was the person who did it. I really feel sorry for them. I've gotten so many calls and texts from people who want to help me in any way they can and ask me if this is real while they cry on the phone. Having to keep telling people what happened really broke my heart. My grandparents in particular. Grandpa was. I have no idea how he will get through this. He kept saying no, no, no. Not my. I have to give a statement to the police today. Probably talk about how they feel about each other. I have to be there in 4.5 hours, but I haven't really slept yet. I also can't really eat. When I think about food, I just want to throw up. I wanted to thank everyone who commented on my first post. I know we don't know each other and that I'm just a voice on a screen, but reading your hugs and words of support made me feel better. I'll have to think about hiring an attorney. My dad is in the other room sleeping. We'll have to figure out what to do next. Some parts of me really don't see the point in living anymore because my life is so painful, and I've been through so many bad things. I went through a rape and a drug problem just when things were getting better. And this. But I love my mom more than anything, and I can't let her down. Also, my dad and I will need me to be here. I miss her a lot. What happened that night still seems like a dream. I'm currently sitting at my mother's desk in her small office in the Berlin apartment where I grew up. I can feel her all around me in some way. It's been 23 days since the cops knocked on my door at 3 a.m. and asked if they could come inside. My dad killed himself, so it's all been so hard to figure out. It's a mix of crying, yelling, screaming, throwing things, and just feeling empty. Someone linked to that popular post about grief and God. It's so true. I go through phases, and it's really hard to deal with them. Since that night, I've never been alone again. In some ways, this makes me tired, but I think it's also very important. I'm going to go over the facts and events because I also want to set the record straight, since there is so much false information in the media. My mother was with my dad for 8 years, and he only moved to Berlin after that. I'll just say that he has children from his first marriage. I am the only daughter my mother has. He didn't call me and tell me what he did, but he did call a friend he sometimes walks his dog with. After 11 p.m., this happened. He was already at the summer house at this point. Getting there takes about 1 hour and 45 minutes. This means that my mom had been dead for about 2 hours. The police record also says this. My mom, not my stepdad, was the one who owned the summer house. She put all the money she had into it and fixed it up by hand. It does not belong to him in any way. Late at night, the cops came to my mom's in my apartment. They didn't know where he could have gone and were afraid he might come back and hurt me since he had the keys to our place. I was going to see a movie with a friend. A few hours after I wrote on Reddit, news stories started coming out that linked my stepfather to a celebrity. I put up the post because I wanted help. My dad and this famous person are in no way friends. They know each other, so there's no reason to include him in any of this. That happened late Wednesday or early Thursday. On Friday, I went to the LKA and talked about them and their relationship for 3 hours. Since then, everything has turned upside down for me. My mother, who I love the most in the world, was just taken away from me. I feel like I have a big hole inside of me that is leaking blood. I don't cry all the time, sometimes I'm fine, but mostly I just feel empty. My mother has been with me for all 21 years of my life. I'm not just saying this because she's dead. She really is the best mother anyone could ask for. She is funny and kind, and her laugh is contagious. She is also very honest. She is the most energetic person I know. When she tells a story, she gets up from the table and moves her hands all over the place. She has such bright eyes. I might show some photos of her because I want people to see how beautiful she is. I want everyone to know that she is dead. Because, believe me, this is a real and terrible loss for the world. She has so many skills. She got her bachelor's degree in art history in the United States, and she's had a variety of jobs her whole life. She's been a hippie her whole life. When I was young, she started working at an English language summer camp in Thuringen, Germany. She would take me there for many weeks, staying on a hill on a farm in the middle of a huge forest. She is a magician in the kitchen. All she has to do is open the fridge and make something delicious out of leftovers that no one would ever think would taste good. She likes to make all of her own things. She would let milk go bad so she could make her own cheese. I have 1,000 jars of her chutneys and jams that she made herself. Years before the outbreak, she made her own bread. She made her own vinegar, syrups, and booze, and her famous hot sauces. When I got home, I'd open the fridge door and ask her which of the many bowls covered with small plates were ready to eat and which weren't. Since she died, I've found so many half-done projects that I don't even know what they are. I really want to ask her. I wish I had more time to talk to her about so many things. I'm crying again because I'm writing this. At the start of the pandemic, which I think was in March, I moved back in with her. She ordered 14 different bottles of white wine from Lidl, and every night while we cooked, we'd drink one together and make notes on the color and taste, giving it a score between 1 and 10 on the Lidl scale. One of the funniest people I know is her, and she's so easy to forgive. Even when I was younger, my friends and I would sometimes get into big blowout fights and scream. But 5 minutes later, she would apologize and tell me she loved me more than anything else in the world. We always told each other we loved each other, sometimes out of the blue, and hugged each other. I really appreciate this. I'd say we had a very special bond as mother and daughter. I've always looked up to her, and I love her with all my heart. I will be lucky if I am even half as kind, funny, artistic, emotional, forgiving, and understanding as she is. I always have her face in front of me. I can make out her laughter. What the hell? I'd do anything to have her with me right now. Just about anything. It hurts me so much. If not for her, I probably would have died about 1.5 years ago. She got me out of my dark places, and she loved me no matter what. She's not only my mom, but also my best friend. And I will never ever forgive him for taking her away from me. Even more so as more and more facts come to light. Before I say anything else, I should say that I knew about their connection. Or to be more specific, I was the closest person to both of them at the same time. And it's important to know that he wasn't some creepy, scary bad guy who hurt people and scared them. I cared for him. He was like one of my best friends. When he came into the lives of my mother and me, I welcomed him with open arms. I've told him things I didn't want anyone else to know, and we've had inside jokes. We bet on things, and I usually won, so he had to pay up. It was related to me. I feel just as tricked by this. I feel ripped off. I feel like I didn't see it. I've also had bad fights with him, and I knew about their fights, but I had no idea that this would happen. I would never do something that could hurt my mother. I guess that's why she had to keep things from me. They lived in different apartments, so the murder happened in his apartment. After that, he drove his car to my mother's country house, where they both spent every weekend. They like to go on flower hunts, plant and build things, and swim in the lake right outside their door. This was their safe place, and I think that's why he went there. I've always thought that he blew up about something, lost control, and killed my mother when he wasn't thinking straight. I thought this made sense. Because he killed my mother, he killed himself, since he didn't know what to do next. But the more time goes by and my mom's friends and I find out more facts, the more it seems like it was the other way around. My mother was killed because he wanted to kill himself. He was trying to hide something. Since the night the cops came, they've been asking me where their laptops are since they both had one. And they are both gone. They found the empty cases, but the items are gone. This made us think something was wrong. His phone is also gone, but my mom's phone is still here because the cops gave it to me. The other things are also true. She didn't have multiple stab cuts in her chest, despite what the news said. Her death was caused by only one small cut that was very well placed. He didn't tell anyone about what he did until he got home. When he got to the cabin, he parked like a normal person and even said hello to a neighbor. The puzzle is coming together, that this was done with no heart. I don't really know why I'm putting all of this in a Word document and why I'm going to post it on Reddit, but I need to share. I hate and I'm angry at so many things. I can feel it boiling inside me, and it keeps trying to break out. I've broken so many things because I'm so angry. I get angry and yell at people sometimes, and sometimes I just cry and beat my pillows. I can also be very calm at times. I still feel happiness. And my mom has a great group of friends that I've known all my life and who are there for me. I saw her dead body in the coffin, and I will never be able to forget it. She was so small that it makes my heart hurt. I also slept at the cabin for 2 nights, and at night, every shadow looked like my dad. I've started locking my doors at night because I'm afraid. When I was younger, murder seemed so far away, like it happened to other people in a different world than mine. But it's not anymore, and I won't let him mess up her house or her place. I'm not going to let him take that from her or me. I say no, just that I miss her. Everything about her I miss. It hasn't been that long, but all I want is for her to give me a hug, say my name, tell me she loves me, and tell me I'm a great young woman. I want her to snuggle with me in bed, like she did for years until I got too old for it. I want to talk about our dreams with her at the kitchen table in the morning. I want her to ask me what I dreamed about the night before, for her to talk to me about my ideas for stories and poems and about the book she was writing but will never finish. It hurts so much that I don't know how I'll ever be able to move on. She has always been the best person I know, and I can't believe this is happening. I have no idea how to deal with this. I'm confused. I feel like I need to become an adult very quickly and take her with me. There is a lot more to say, that much, but I probably should stop at some point. Any suggestion would be helpful.